Broadcasting from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia to around the globe. You're listening to Shark Bite Biz, your exclusive place for business strategy, sales, marketing, and tech in the roaring 20s. And now, here's your host, David Strausser.
And welcome to the next episode of Shark Bite Biz. I'm your glamorous host, David Strausser. This is your place to learn how to grow a business during complete chaos. Awesome episode here today. We're going to just chat with a small business, a real mom and pop store, about how they're doing through all of this, of what we're going through now. First, though, remember, if you love what we're doing and you're watching on YouTube, smash that join button. You can become a baby shark for only $3 a month. Now, if big tech's not your thing, that's fine, no problem. You can give your money straight to us by going to deadhousecoffee.com. Use code SHARK, get 20% off. All the proceeds directly help support this channel. Now, let's get back to today's show. We're going to have a great story of the mom and pop shop, like I was just telling you. All their trials, all their tribulations during the pandemic, being closed by state regulations, then being able to open again to overwhelming demand. We'll chat to the man at the center of this, hear his plight in making the business run as best as it can, and we're going to dig into side hustle as well, too. Today's guest is Domingo Vasquez of Valley Gaming and Billiards. Valley Gaming and Billiards is a home game room store in Northern California. Like many other businesses in the home improvement and home entertainment industries, this is one business that hit lows during the pandemic, but upon reopening is again hitting peak levels and booked out for long periods of time. It's a great story of the struggles and success of a mom and pop business, and you're going to hear all this right here exclusively on Shark Bite Biz. So hey, no longer delay. Let's bring Domingo right on in here.
Small Biz Spotlight.
Domingo, welcome to Shark Bite Biz. You, my friend, you just became Shark Bait.
Thanks. Awesome.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. So we have a tradition on the show. Very, very first question. It's always the same thing for everybody. Although I think I ask it different ways for everybody. But it's not a loaded question or anything. Just tell us your life story, man. Who are you? How'd you get where you're at? What do you do for a living? Why should everybody out there watching on YouTube and the millions and millions of people listening on Spotify and iTunes listen to you, my friend?
Well, thank you, David. I appreciate you. Being on the show is awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time you're taking to do this with me. So I'm currently the manager at Valley Gaming and Billiards, your home game room store. So right now, people are really flocking to us in stores like ours around the country and even out around the world. So right now, with the lockdowns, with kids being home, with families working from home, like they're realizing a couple of things, just how boring their house might be, like how little activities they actually have to do when they're there for 24 hours straight, And
it's funny. It's funny that you said that, because you know what I did before? I'm like, hey, we just had the expense of moving from LA to Philly. I got to save money in 2020. So I'm like, I'm just going to buy activities for the kids to do at the house because I'm going to be cheap. No vacations 2020. Luckily, did I know that I was ahead of the curve, because we got a beautiful trampoline. We got the basketball net, little horseshoes. I got Philadelphia Eagles. What do they call it? The cornhole, where you toss the bean bags. We got essentially everything but a dartboard. We got like pool toys. Like we don't have a pool, but we got a small kiddie pool, and then we got slip and slides. So it was
Oh, yeah,
like
fun.
I did all of that, and then 2020 hit, and it was like,
Oh,
wow, this is excellent. It worked perfect.
You were ready. You had the what we need list, the emergency list for activities before you.
No. Well, I don't call it the what you need list. I call it the I'm not paying for a vacation this year list.
Well, staycation, right?
Yep.
That term. Yep.
Well, I'm always on a staycation, it seems like, because I'm always working, whether it's with our coffee company, Dead House Coffee, whether it's with the podcast, this Shark Bite Biz show, or it's with Vision 33, which takes up probably about 80% of my time. That's my day job where I run the East Coast and the Northeast for 2 different product lines. So, I mean, that's the really cool thing for me is that everything is it's like I'm permanently working, but I'm also permanently on vacation. If I need to disappear for 2-3 hours during the day to go do something with my kids because they want to go to the playground, I do it. But I'm probably working in the evening then instead too. So I'm still putting in the hours. It just I don't have to do a straight 8 hours, and that's what I love about my position because it really comes down to deliverables and hitting metrics. And if you do XXXX, a lot of these things, it doesn't matter if you do it at 8 o'clock at night or if you do it at 11 a.m. So I'm blessed, I view, that I'm able to not only have that flexibility, but I don't abuse it. And I also execute on it. I'm top performer. So, sorry, I just wanted to jump in there. I thought that related to what you were saying.
But it's totally relatable to what a lot of people are doing now and finding themselves in this kind of a situation where this hasn't been the work schedule that we've all come accustomed to, the 9 to 5, the 5 days a week or 6 days a week or whatever you were working before. But so people are, I should think they're getting acclimated to this new world that we're living in. And
9 to 5 hours are totally outdated, I think, unless you're working something retail or a hospital, someplace where you physically have to be there 9 to 5.
Yeah, working at Google, working at HP or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, okay, if you do a sales position, I mean, again, it depends on the industry. There's always going to be exceptions. But if you're a sales rep, for example, it's like, dude, I don't care if you work from Cabo or Disneyland or the beach. I care, are you calling the leads that you have? Are you advancing sales cycles? Are you closing deals? I mean, I remember I got a lead. I was traveling down to Peru when my sister-in-law had passed a few years ago. And this is when I was still out in LA.
Right.
But I take advantage because I picked the longest flights. That's why I had like a 36-hour layover in Bogota, for example, and then I had another like 25-hour layover in Quitos, and it's like cool. I get these mini vacations on the way to Peru, and I got a lead when I think I was in Mexico City at a layover, which was a short one, but when I was there, I got a lead. So I'm there talking with the guy to set up a demo time. And I remember that I was actually in the Bogota airport, connected to my cell phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot, doing a full-blown software demo for this guy it was like $150,000 deal right there in an airport while I'm on vacation. And that's kind of where I think the future of things are going. It's going to be more performance based than you got to do 9 to 5 or 40 hours a week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's actually like everything comes full circle, right? I mean, salesmen used to travel a lot and go do presentations, flights here, flights there, trains here, trains there. And, these days here in Northern California, there's times when somebody calls and says, well, I don't know if I can fit a pool table or not. Can anybody stop by my house and check it out? Check out my room, see if what size I can fit. Like I want one, but I don't know if I can fit one. And, and if they don't sound like, they're crazy. I mean, they're cool. They're cool people, which they usually are. then yeah, I'm gonna go. If you're not too crazy inconvenient, I might go out there and then just do a pre-site inspection, measure the walls, measure the hard walls, anyways, and say, okay, for you can the three sizes of tables that people usually buy are 7 foot, 8 foot, 9 foot, and there's more sizes than that, but that's for another whole fun kind of conversation. But
right. So with that though, I mean, how, we're in this pandemic that just does not want to go away. How has COVID changed it for your business then for those on-site visits?
My industry, we usually see the best time of the year is actually the fall and winter. And this is making our business a 12-month season business now. So where I normally sell out of our store is only like 2,600 square feet, but I've got 20 pool tables set up, on display, different styles, different size, well, they're all the same size currently, but usually I'll have a 7 foot somewhere on the floor and a 9 foot on the floor. And then the rest of them will usually be the 8 foot, because that's what probably 99% of people will buy is a standard 8 foot, 44 by 88 inch playfield pool table. But I'll have the three sizes here so that people can say, well, what's the 7 foot look like? Or what's the 9 foot look like? Because one guy just told me the other day, his room is 43 feet wide by 25 feet wide, 25 feet wide, 43 feet long. I'm like, that's a big, big room. I'm like, you can fit anything you want, maybe more than one pool table if you want to go there. Or we could do a shuffleboard.
Get your own billiards lounge going on.
Yeah, well, he did say that the part of the plan is a shuffleboard, but that part isn't in the budget. You get the pool table now and the shuffleboard a little bit later. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. That's fine. So.
But I mean, as far as going out though, I mean, having to wear the mask. I mean, do you wear little booties or anything? Because I think I had Verizon people, like for example, when we got service tweaked out here, coming out with booties. Or no, it wasn't Verizon. It was I have a Lenovo Yoga laptop. So those people who are just working on a laptop, changing an internal battery, came here with little booties on, wearing gloves, masks, all that stuff. How serious have you had to take it?
We were okay. So I mean, I'm in the store, and when somebody comes in, I put a mask on. And it's our rule for people to wear a mask when they walk in. We're kind of just being compliant with the state regs, whatever the state says, county says to us, we'll do that. We were closed when they wanted us to be closed, which was 2.5 months last year. And then we opened back up by June 1st, from March 21st. And, it was masks for sure. Nothing else, no booties or anything, not in the retail store here. When it comes to delivery and installation, our crew would wear masks into the home. But because they're carrying 3 slabs of real slate and they're 200, average 250 pounds per piece, and those 2 guys have to carry them. They can't wear the booties because that's super dangerous.
Too slick.
Very slippery. And when you're carrying that kind of weight, somebody can get hurt. So they have to just go in bare, with their shoes. They have to be with their shoes. Or if the homeowner says, "Hey, no booty, no delivery. If you don't wear booties, we'll have to postpone or cancel their delivery altogether."
Wow. Okay.
It's just too dangerous.
So the big thing, one of the big things that I got from you is that you're saying that people are buying things like your pool tables like crazy right now. Give us a comparison. I mean, how much let's take 2020 out of the equation. Let's compare 21 to 2019. I mean, how much percentage growth are you seeing? Is it double, 3 times, half, more?
It's literally okay. It's right now. It's literally 3 to 4 times. Normally I was at the store, and my territory is literally over about an 1,100 mile area. So we will deliver from Stockton, California, or our warehouse in Lodi. We will deliver all the way down as south as far as Bakersfield, California, all the way north to the Oregon border, west to the water, San Francisco, Santa Cruz, and then east all the way over to like Lake Tahoe or Reno.
Now that's just for like your in-home deliveries. If you're shipping, like someone buys something online, are you doing it national? How does that work?
No, not national. We're pretty much locked to our half the state of California, the top half of California, and like
even if it's just a pure e-com, say they're buying a simple dartboard, like what we were talking about, you'll just remain within that territory.
Yeah, well, no. Then I can absolutely, like you said, you're in Philadelphia. I can ship you one too. Yes, and typically we'll have a conversation. So we like to do that by phone. I can take your information and then boom, drop ship one to your door or to your office if it's there you want it brought to your office because that's where you are all day or something. Right. Work, that's fine too.
My home office. So why do you have that because you said that you have a conversation there. Now I'm talking just e-commerce orders. Okay, why do you have that conversation?
Mainly because like some of these games are passion sports. Okay. Mm-hmm. I, for one, bought my first cue for $99 from a billiard shop like this when I was 15 years old. My mother, when she was, she was a single mom, and she told me, she's like, you want shoes from, Foot Locker, you need a job. You want.
Oh, that's exactly how it was for me. But you said when you were 15?
Yeah, I was 15 when I bought my first.
Well, I mean, that's not that long ago. You only look like you're 17 or 18.
I wish.
How much of a discount is that on the dartboard?
Well, I'm kidding. So this has been like for me, my passion sport is pool. My other one is poker. So I play with $35 poker cards, nice high grade plastic casino quality poker cards. I don't play with Hoyle paper cards or whatever brand paper cards from a liquor store. I play with really high grade poker cards. If something spilled on the table, it spilled on my card, I can mop. I can clean them. Wow. They slide the felt really great.
I might buy a couple of things off you just because, I mean, the $3-4 cards, for example, our kids are always spilling stuff on it, whether it's bean dip or something, ketchup, their juice, that stains Crystal Light, this bright red fruit punch that we drink, whatever it may be, and that stains everything. So imagine what it's doing to our bodies. But anyways, I'm the type of person, like here's an example. When we moved in here, I view the purchases as two ways. One, it's a temporary, so I'm just going for the cheapest thing possible because I can't afford at that moment the more luxurious higher end item, which I'm eventually going to get, but then I buy it and I'm like, okay, this is going to last us 2 years, and then after 2 years, I'll buy the one that I really wanted, hopefully at a bigger discount then. Or like when we moved here from LA, we didn't have any yard equipment, so I had to go out and buy all brand new yard equipment, and everybody was like, hey, get this cheap gas motors, stuff like that, and they weren't that much more expensive, but I was kind of like, no, because if I buy something, I want this stuff to last 5 to 10 years for these yard tools. So I went out and I bought all of the, the Echo Plus, Evo Plus, something like that, the battery powered ones that are actually made by Chevron. And oh my God, are they awesome. They're so quiet. They're just as powerful for the most part. Even the chainsaw. I mean, this battery powered chainsaw will cut through anything that my neighbor's chainsaw will do, and I don't have to buy gas. All I need is a bar and chain oil. So for something like that, something like that, where I'm thinking I want something for long term, that's where it's like I'm buying more of a top of the line item because in my head, I think they last longer and they're more efficient and they're better, they give you better results. So with even things like playing cards where we do our neighborhood poker games, stuff like that for fun. I mean, those things would get its use, and it may sound exorbitant, but I mean, $35 for really good playing cards that clean off. Yeah. Well, the 3-year-old, I'm sure he can't rip those as easy.
Right.
So it's worth it for me because otherwise, I'm buying a cheap deck of cards every 3-4 weeks right now.
Correct. Like there's also good quality plastic ones similar to my $35 ones that are like $3.99 a deck. So my 35 is a double deck in a nice box with a clear cover and blah blah blah. They don't know the right pattern or something that I wanted, and I always have somebody shuffling a deck while I'm dealing the other deck. So
okay. I count those. I count those as backup cards for when the cards get lost.
No, it's just alternating each hand with the black deck and then the gold deck, then back to the black deck the next hand, the gold. So
how do you view that the luxury? Like, okay, so we've already established your sales compared to 2019 are 3 to 4 times more. What type of sale are you getting? Has the quality improved? Are you selling more higher end items?
I'm gonna have to say no on that because in 2018,
and that's fine.
2018, 2019, we were selling more high end, just because life was normal, and people that have money always have money, and some other people like me or probably like you, like we get a big check, once a year, that tax refund comes, and then we're going to go out and buy something nice for our family, our house or whatever, and with that money, but there's some people that just on a regular basis buy like the higher end stuff. One guy was buying a brother table from me once a few years ago, and he was like buying a $6,500 table, a designer style table, really nice. I don't like cookie cutter stuff, so I'm not gonna buy your cheapest table you got. He goes, but I also see there's 3 other tables here that are like $9,000, $10,000, $11,000, and he goes, I'm not buying one of those. He goes, I bought the one I like, and it's a quality one. It's Brunswick, from a brand that's been around for 170 years. 176 years now officially.
What brand was that?
Brunswick.
Brunswick. Yeah. I thought that's what he said. I've heard of Brunswick.
Yeah, they've been here. They've been around since 1845. So they make the best quality, best playing pool table in the world, and that's undisputable. And so they, even in their lower end tables that are in the high $2,000 range, play fantastic, better than any other brand out there. And so there's some that are, arguably really good tables, and there's no doubt to that. There's just a couple other brands. So we sell actually 10 brands of pool tables. I don't have all 10 brands on my floor, but when people come in and they want a particular brand and a model, just last month, somebody just ordered a table from a company we weren't even signed up with, but I was getting inventory lists from their CFO weekly to say, hey, if you ever need any table from us, here's our inventory. Yeah. So okay, we need to sign up as a dealer. Got somebody that wants one of your tables. So boom,
that's awesome.
And went the extra mile for that customer to get it. So no problem.
See, that's pretty cool because this is your first deal with that dealer. So you brought in a new supplier during these times, and I think that there's a lot of people in business to where they just got a closed mind, like, nah, we already got our suppliers, we're good. And it's like you never know, like, keep those doors open. You never know when you're going to have that customer. Now, this customer spent $6,500 with you. If you give him, if he sees the value in what he paid for in your service, your delivery, you guys treating him as a customer, I mean, the lifetime of that customer could easily turn 10,000 plus, with all the referrals you get, stuff like that, just because you did keep that door open with that supplier.
Yeah. So the average people spend on a pool table is between like $2,500 and $5,000.
Wow.
Now, I'm going to tell you something that'll probably blow your mind. By November and December of this past year, every one of the factories that we are signed with ran out of tables from $5,400 and below. They ran out of inventory.
What did they do?
So in this production of products, what they usually do is, 2019, the factories built up their inventory according to sales from the year before 2019's numbers. Well, nobody saw 2020 coming, and this weird extra That's why I'm saying, sales of pool tables in the normal 2,500 to 5,000 range is at triple or quadruple,
Right.
what it was any year prior. So last year I did 25 to 30% more than the previous 11 years for the year.
Wow. So with that though, I mean, okay, so I just want to confirm. You said that they're lower end boards, which were like the 2,500 to 5,000, something like that range, completely sold out. So in order for someone to buy one of those pool tables, they had to automatically go up to the 5,000 plus tier. Now, the pool table company, realizing that, hey, this is a great problem to have because we did sell out of all of our inventory, but it's also a terrible problem because if they're not selling any additional pool tables because someone only had $3,000 to spend, they're losing it to a competitor and may lose that customer now for life. Did they give you any type of incentives or something like that to try to sell higher amounts of those mid-tier pool tables?
Unfortunately, no. There's really not much they could do. The only thing that done by anybody is us. We have to have backup inventory. So we have, like, for example, another thing that's a little sad is that in the last 2 years, 2 factories have gone under. One went under I don't know why they really went under. They went under about 2 years ago. They had 600 tables at the end when they closed their doors. We bought like 70 of them, and and then we put those in our warehouse. And then another company just about 5 months ago, they didn't see it coming. Literally, their bank shut them down for whatever reason. I believe it was just a financial issue, and so they got shut down. And they actually sold through the big box store that we all like to pay our membership for and go to every month and get a couple $100 worth of groceries and stuff.
Yeah, so, Costco, not a sponsor.
Correct. So Costco, you can buy a pool table on Costco.com, and if you live in Northern California, then Valley Gaming and Billiards is going to be your delivery crew. We're the one contracted for that. But they literally ran out of pool tables on there too. So we have to have
that's pretty awesome that you were able to innovate by getting that partnership with Costco to where
we have about 10 of those partnerships.
Yeah, well, you are, I mean, in that route, I mean, you're kind of the retailer, but in a way you're a wholesaler to Costco, and you're doing the service section around it too. So it's not the ideal profit margin that you're looking for, but it's kind of, I view it as extra because you weren't going to sell those customers anyways. They were going to go to Costco, and now you're getting a slice of that pie.
Correct. Yeah. So we have 2 sides of our business: the retail doors right here with everything, and then we have our service side of the business. And that service side does as much business annually as I do here. Sometimes. Lately, it can't compete with me, but that's just because a lot of the .coms ran out of pool tables. So everything they shipped to it has been delivered off, and that's that. So right now, I don't know if there's a single Brunswick pool table on Costco's website or not. The last time I looked, the only pool table there was the Ford Mustang pool table for $12,000. So, but once Brunswick's inventory gets back into the States, because they're made all over the world. Brazil, they make them in Asia, they make stuff in America. So once the common price inventory gets back up, then Costco will have models on their website again. So it's all based on a lot, whatever available inventory there is.
Yeah, just really circling back then to where the pandemic, your business was closed for essentially 2 months. How scary was that at the moment?
It was very scary in one sense. We had actually just closed our second retail location about 4.5 months prior. And that was to it being slower in the Sacramento area. And sometimes people would call me to the Stockton store and want to buy from me after having talked to me and stuff. So
Right.
there was a personnel, little small with internal personnel issues. So we decided to close that store, and because it wasn't really paying to have it open when I'm already still selling tables over there anyways. And a lot from different areas will call us because we deliver literally a 550-mile radius, area.
Right.
So when they find that out, that we have the best brands or the best service department, in Northern California, and we can come to them, and take care of them. Well, they get comfortable with that, and then they know that we're reliable, and we do a great job. And I mean, we've got 5 of 5 stars on Facebook as far as rating goes, and and so that's we do the best job that can be done, period.
Right.
And our lead technician is phenomenal, and his helper is great. We have a backup team as well, and that's basically the owner and his son. And
that's great.
Their own day job, but when we get overflow, they can take care of anything and anybody, anything that we have to do. Yeah.
It sounds like, though, for the bottom line, that you weren't severely impacted. Like, yes, 2 months being closed, very drastic, but once people realized, hey, this is going to be around for a couple months minimal, and those sales really started picking up, it sounds like you were able to recover nicely. Is that kind of accurate?
That's accurate. Yeah. 2.5 months with no income coming in the retail doors, and then service was at a full stop as well at the time. So yeah, that made it scary for the time being, but we were basically counting our chickens and saying, you know what? Thank God we closed the other store, because that, having to pay the bills that still came in, we still had to pay rent, still had PG&E to pay here, and our gas and electric bill and everything. Those bills don't stop regardless. So that's what a lot of businesses faced is, the landlord's still saying, hey, give me my rent. The energy companies still want their money.
Yep.
And yet you have people coming through the doors and no new income. Right. And there should have been some PPE that had to do directly with rents, really, but the government just didn't. Whatever.
Yeah. As I was telling you before the show, we really don't jump on as far as the political situation, but we do jump on, and we passionately attack our government at all levels: local, county, state, federal, and all branches, whether it is, the legislative or the executive branches, because everybody has been failed, I think, especially the small business people, small business owners, as far as the support that they were getting out of fear of, just being divisive. And really, while they're doing their divisive, petty politic ways, it came down to, huge transfer of wealth to these, billion, almost $1 trillion companies, and small businesses like you all got hit the hardest. But, despite all of that, I'm really, really enthused that you all found a way to survive, overcome it, working with people like Costco so you can get a piece of that pie from the transfer of wealth. And it sounds like, you guys are going to have a second store back up and running eventually. Maybe in Philadelphia.
Probably not, since I can't be in 2 places at once. Probably not. We're happy with the store, and it's just right for us at this time. We may or may not move it in the future. Just down the road, a few miles, about 20 miles away. The two cities in the U.S., the number 1, number 2 city of people who commute to make a big income is Stockton and Modesto. And then the third city with the people that travel to make the best income is like Sherman Oaks down in. So
Sherman Oaks heading down to like LA and stuff, I imagine.
Right. And so those people, they commute, like, I think the statistic is 90 miles plus to go make the big income, but live someplace where it's affordable for them. So that's what Stockton and Modesto are, is number one and number two cities for that. Working in the Bay Area and the Silicon Valley and San Francisco and all that.
Right.
So I'd like to be right there where the traffic meets and heads to the Bay and comes home from the Bay. I'd like our store to be there, but that's something for the future and something we're working on.
Something for the future. Well, that's what I said, man. Eventually, you gotta have dreams, right? Hey, exactly. Domingo, this has been amazing. You gave us a good insight into your industry, into your business, some of your, the tips, tricks you're doing, some of the places that you had some difficulties. Really, really loved it. You got a beautiful store there. So I'm going to ask you, how can our listeners and viewers reach out to you?
We are on Facebook at Valley Gaming and Billiards. We are on Instagram at Valley Gaming 209. And they can go to our website as well. And it's a beautiful gallery website at valleygaming.com.
Okay, perfect. That sounds amazing. Hey, thank you so much for coming on. And maybe we'll get you back on later this year, early next year, after this pandemic stops, to see how business has changed.
Yeah. Like, just, I don't know if it was one thing more I think you wanted to talk about was side gigs, like side work. Did you want to?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes when it's this busy like it is now, and people are moving from one house to another, because the housing market is a whole other category that we end up getting touched on. People moving, people remodeling, and they put new floors in their house. So our service department gets involved there, takes their current pool table down and out of the way on the floor, moves it out into a temporary space until their flooring is redone. Then we come back again and put the pool table back together. Sometimes they'll recover it, put new cloth on at that time. But sometimes people are just moving, and maybe they're with the unfortunate influx of people moving from, like California to other states like yourself. Right. We've just gone and taken their pool tables apart, put it in their pod, put it in their U-Haul, their rider moving truck, whatever moving truck they're using, or pod or whatever. And so when our crew is super busy, I've been doing this for 17 years, since 2004. I've learned a lot from our crew, and so I can take just about any kind of pool table apart properly without damaging it, with always saving the cloth, pulling the 800 to 1,000 staples out that are holding that cloth on the bed of the pool table. And so I preserve 100% of the cloth, so that when the table gets reassembled, they can still use that cloth and not have that money wasted that they spent on that cloth. So I take a bunch apart, probably 200 tables easily in the last couple of years.
And this is something that you started during the pandemic?
A little bit before, just before, probably within a year before.
That's cool.
I've taken pool tables apart in the stores, getting them ready for my crew to deliver to salsa sold, or that we have sold. That's when I started collecting the same tools and looking at the tools my crew uses. So I'm using the same tools they do, and so I'm not going to mess anything up. I do know which end of the wrench is which end of the screwdriver is which, hammer and all that. Yeah, I mean, hammers aren't involved with pool tables, thank God. But pellets are.
Yeah. I get you. That sounds like a great side gig there as well too, because it's got a lot of synergy with what you're already doing. So it kind of just fits in perfectly there. Well,
and I know that some of the competitors online that do pool table service don't do the best job. So that's why I've actually made myself available to do it sometimes for people. So I tell them, look, my crew is booked out 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they're like, well, we got to turn the keys over to this house on Friday, so we need our pool table taken apart before that. We don't. So then rather than them have call around, or me refer somebody else, not a competitor, to get the business, I'll say, okay, I'll do the job. I can do it on Sunday or Monday or one of these evenings after I leave the store. And taking a pool table, about an hour and a half job, and it's worth awesome, a good little. And I keep my two tool bags in my trunk of my car, and I go there. I take any pool table apart in about 90 minutes or so.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I totally forgot. I remember when I was looking for guests, I was looking also for people that started up a side gig that had maybe synergy with their main job, that came out around during the pandemic and how that went. So that is some great stuff. Thank you again so much for coming on, man. Remember, you can reach out to Domingo. Links are down in the bottom. Anything else, man?
Man, hashtag Valley Gaming and Billiards for all your home game room needs.
Ah, love it. Love it. Thank you, dude.
Wow, that was an awesome chat with Domingo, right? First, y'all know the routine. If you found this interview helpful, if it sparked those warm and fuzzies, do me a favor. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, follow button, whatever it says. And if you really want to help us out, okay, share this out to your network. Help them find Shark Bite Biz. There's no shame in sharing. I'm telling you right now. Go ahead, do it. I'd love nothing more than Domingo, Valley Gaming and Billiards, or Shark Bite Biz to be out there trending. That'd be awesome. Now let's get back to discussing our rock star guest, Mr. Domingo Vasquez. Overall, it was just a great general conversation, very casual, touching on a lot of points, getting some good stories out there from somebody that's in the trenches and hearing everything that they're doing. And he came to the table with some pretty, really cool stories for us as well, too. Some of the stuff, supply issues. I mean, we're still seeing that today, with the demand issues and stuff like that. So I guess it's comforting to hear, if that's the right word, that it's happening in other industries as well, too. And just how they have to operate now with delivering, installing products and stuff. A lot of things have changed over the past 14 months. One area, well, I guess it's not an area, but it's a story that I want to reiterate here in my outro for all you sales reps out there, okay? He had a customer buy a pool table from a brand that they never bought of. They didn't stock them or anything else like that. However, according to Domingo again, the CFO of that company, the company that makes the pool tables, kept sending them the price list and stuff like that. And when the opportunity finally rose, Domingo ended up selling the pool table because the customer wanted that specific table. That's pretty awesome. That is persistence from that pool table manufacturing company of not giving up, okay? Especially during a pandemic. Potential suppliers, potential resellers of your products, keep them in the loop. Just keep, trying. They said no. They said no. They said no. No stocking, no ordering. Nope, we're not even gonna have, we'll keep your pricing, but nope, that's it. And then all of a sudden, one day that no turns into a yes. Okay. We always hear all these kind of good stories out there that are like this. And it just comes around to the persistence. And it really is something that I think sometimes you just have to go back to sales 101, especially when things get complicated. And just remember, sales is a numbers game. Numbers doesn't always mean, the dollars and cents. It's how many times are you reaching out to people? How often are you reaching out to people? Maintaining relationships, stuff like that. And the CFO of that company definitely did it to where when Domingo had to, he sold the product. Now, if everything goes good, and, it's a pleasant experience for Domingo's company as well as the customer then too, that may open the door to a lot more sales. But overall, this really just came out to being a story that's a validation for many of us that our labor today will bear fruits, ripe fruits, and many fruits tomorrow. Okay? Question of the day. When has something paid off for you after a long-term bet like that pool table manufacturer? Leave a comment down below on YouTube. Love to hear some of those stories. Do you want to be on the show? It is simple. Shoot an email. interviews@sharkbitebiz.com. Remember, join the channel if you're on YouTube. It's only $3 a month. You get some exclusive perks. If not, go to Deadhouse Coffee. Use code SHARK. Get 20% off your purchase and directly support this channel. And remember, I'm David Strausser. This is Shark Bite Biz. We'll see you all next episode. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Shark Bite Biz. We hope you got some insightful info from this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to us through your favorite podcast app and visit us on the web at www.sharkbitebiz.com. How has business changed for you in the 20s? Email us at podcast@sharkbitebiz.com so you can join us and share your story.